You're looking live.
Can you see if you got a notification?
Oh, yeah.
And if I just want to make sure, is it for the right show? For Offseason on the Brink?
I do not get the notifications for some reason. I don't think.
You got them first.
I did, but I don't now. I might have turned it off.
What's our ad this time?
1-800
Flowers. Flowers.
Mother's Day, they must have heard us. All the algorithms you've been talking about, T. They heard us talking about Mother's Day. Our next ad on YouTube was 1-800-Flowers.
There you go.
Our smartphones are so
Then again,
smart.
Mother's Day is only 5 days away.
That doesn't need an algorithm. That is true. But you did say, thanks for the reminder. So maybe I have an algorithm?
Maybe. I don't know.
I would never want to witness that.
But I think
Up
if
and
we were
Adam, and
talking
we're
about
good.
Mother's Day in like September, then that would be weird. But
That would be weird. That's a lot of
see a
planning.
Mother's Day ad.
Dude, I said taco
4 days
holder for
out.
my daughter's Tuesday birthday, and the next thing that popped up on my Facebook was a taco holder.
They're very popular items.
No, they're not.
Yes,
It's a
they are.
dinosaur-shaped taco holder.
I have 2 taco hoarders connected to my body.
There's a third.
Yes. I can.
All
Yes. All right, let's get started.
right.
Appreciate everybody giving us a little bit of their Tuesday. It's a little after 9 p.m. Eastern time. Shout out to all the folks hanging out with us from over the drink around the world. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Redskins are international. God help all the people who have decided who never ever lived in the States and are only Redskins fans. Those are some of the greatest Redskins fans that I get to meet on an annual basis. I love it. And we appreciate your support. All the folks at Hogs Haven, thanks for hanging out with us.
Right?
It's Andrew, of course, but we have the Redskins have a pretty decent sized fan base in England, and I don't know so much about Germany.
My neighbor, who's British, says he's a Redskins fan because when he was younger, came here for a little while, stayed in Virginia with his family or something like that. Got into the Redskins, and then when he went back, would actually remember getting up 1 or 2 in the morning, whatever the hell it was, to put on the radio and listen to Redskins games. Now back, and is my neighbor, But I always thought, how do you become a Redskins fan, whatever fan, when you're over there?
I think
we should have Andrew on and have that
I think they
discussion.
love George Washington
I can't avow to this.
and monuments.
I believe Andrew's stepfather brought his mother brought 2 sweatshirts, and one fit his stepfather, one fit him. She was just at the market, and there was a Packers and a Redskins, so she bought 2 in different sizes. This one happened to fit Andrew Griffith Humphreys a tad bit better than that
was meant to
Packers
be.
jerseys, and since then we couldn't have gotten a better guy.
Nope.
On our side. And I will say this. Shelley Murphy, the only German-born woman I know, and you said you don't know about Germany, wearing a Sean Taylor jersey at the bar on Sunday football. A Ravens fan gave her a little lip, and he caught one right in the lip. You don't talk trash about Sean Taylor in Redskins country.
Nope.
I don't care what country you were born in. Shelley is a
You
diehard.
also don't
and
talk
God bless
like
her
that
for
to
it.
Shelley.
Yeah, well,
Very true, but I was trying to pertain this to this specific podcast. But hey, you live and you learn, right?
That's right.
he's Tim Strachan.
Yes, I am, and I'm looking forward to it. Let's talk about Redskins a little bit. Talk
He's
about some
Kevin
stuff we
Ricca.
haven't talked
I can't wait to talk about this stuff. You know what? It's so exciting to talk about this draft class. I believe that the last 28 guys we've drafted are on the roster right now, presently, and that's exciting.
That's exciting.
That's a step forward.
It's Patriot-esque, is it not?
We've
Is it
had
not a
3 good
playbook?
drafts, including this one. I think is a damn
Is it
good
not
one.
a
We'll see.
playbook of find the ones you want, make them better, keep them
Without
here?
a doubt, T. And I think it also echoes to you live and you learn. You know, when we were handing out second-round picks for dates and possible players to be
And
named later
past
who are already
stats.
35. Exactly.
Yeah. Career
No,
stats.
we've definitely
Halloween.
changed our thought process, and I really do enjoy that. And you know what? It should be enjoyed. We should embrace this. It's not winning the offseason. We didn't go out there and buy a big Cadillac and throw money at someone else and ruin our whole side. This was modest. This is a draft, which everyone's involved in. We just happened to kick ass this year.
Real fast, because I like to. What I've done a terrible job of in the past is actually create a way to mine decent, good data, and then fail to use it in any meaningful way. But in this case, since we've beaten
have
up,
data?
I have some data,
Nice.
and I'm gonna use it.
Get
And
your
it's gonna
hat on
full
with the
circle.
spotlight on it, man.
Full
Mine
circle.
that.
Yeah, you need the
Mine it.
little punching thing coming out of your shirt.
I do need the punching thing coming out of my shirt.
Pitches of power.
I asked Hogshaven in my six-pack this week if Dwayne Haskins would start for the Washington Redskins in the first game of the 19 regular season. Not whether you think that he should or think that he shouldn't, just whether you think it's going to happen. We had about 1,500 votes, and we're split 67%, 33%. Which do you think is the 67%, T?
I think 67% of Maryland Redskins fans say he is going to start.
I think 67% say he will not start.
67% said he will not be starting in week
Get
one.
outta
Which I
here.
thought, even I said, yes, I don't want him to start. Maybe people are wishful thinking. Maybe there's a little bit more Case Keenum confidence out there than we knew about previously.
May I just
Well,
say that I also put a
pundits have
coal
been-
mining hat on?
Yeah, what do you got?
I got, as quickly as possible, in the last 5 years, there's been 16 quarterbacks taken in the first round. I'm going to ask you guys to guess how many of those guys have started week one. 16 first-round quarterbacks in the last 5 drafts
Yep.
have been taken. How many of those 16 actually started week one?
I'll let you go first because I got a number in mind, and I don't want it to influence you.
I'm going to say 6.
It's definitely less than 60. I'll let you guess again because it's not 6.
Well, I mean, I said 6.
Yeah,
He said
it's,
6.
It's like 2 or 3. Or maybe 2.
It's 4.
Is it 4? Okay.
It is 4.
Right between us.
It is 4. You got Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota started against each other. Mariota's first pass ever in the league was a 60-some-yard touchdown.
Yep.
Jameis's first one was a pick. Those two definitely started week one. Sam Darnold started week one
Yeah, he
for the
did.
Jets. And then you got Carson Wentz after they traded Bradford about 2 days before the season started, decided to plug and play. But that's pretty crazy to me.
Oh, who we got or wanted to get, right?
Carson Wentz?
No.
No, we didn't want to get him. But 16 guys. Now, I will say this. How many of those 16 played within the first 5 weeks of the season? Because that's kind of what we're getting at here, right?
So out of the 16
Yep.
that played,
In
meaningful.
the first 5 weeks of the season that got their start in the league. Not meaningful, just got their start in the league. I can't tell you how meaningful it was. I'm just going to tell you
I'm
that
gonna
they
say
got
12.
in. Well, you nailed it. So,
I'm
Ken,
gonna say
I'm going to
12.
say 12 as well. Nice.
I think
just thought that
he's
was pretty
wrong,
cool.
but I
thought it was pretty
a
cool.
dozen is what I was going to say.
And then the one connection to us is Jared Goff, as the first pick in the draft, did not start for 9 weeks. He was one of the 4 because who was starting in his place for the first 9 weeks?
Was it Fitzpatrick?
It was not.
Fitzmagic?
It's a little closer to home, boys.
Case Keenum.
There you
That's
go.
right. It was Case
Yep.
Keenum. He was there that year.
I thought all that was very interesting. It kind of
Yep.
blew me away. I thought it would be more than 4
No,
and less than 12.
I don't. And that was what I was thinking when we were talking about it last week. I think that's what Sean Springs was thinking when he was talking about it. It's what a lot of people out there are talking about. And again, it's not a knock on Dwayne at all. It's just, this is a big business, right? This is a big business. And you got a guy like Keenum who, again, there's just, you cannot replace experience. Now, if Dwayne goes out there and just starts dropping dimes, and you can't help but say, all right. Nobody else can do that.
I think that's kind of what it might look like. And
So-
none of these other 16 guys have an owner named Daniel Snyder who had
Right.
the other team taking over his stadium.
It's different when you
in
got
the second half
it's
of the
different
year.
when you got
Yeah.
near 300-pound guys coming at you at 4, what was it, 4.6 speed or whatever the hell it is.
I mean, RG3 was one of those guys,
It's a
right?
different game.
Well, I
It's
only
a
went back
different
5
game.
years.
Oh, sorry. That's right.
Only went back 5. So that's why I did not include him as part of the study. I just thought 5 years was a good number.
That's fine. 16 guys.
Yeah.
I think people sleep on how normal it is now for teams not to rush a first-round quarterback. And again, going back 5 years, I think you're talking about the change in the CBA. When you were paying a guy $50 million
Yeah, you were
right out of
handcuffed.
college, guess what, buddy? You're taking hits from 350-pound defensive linemen.
doubt.
Because you're getting paid to do
And
it.
we're not
trying
taking
to
hits at the
do
box office.
something.
That's why
That's
you're here.
right. That's right.
And we're coming out of the ears with it. Yeah.
To be
agreed.
an NFL football player, period, is something that, what I say last week, like less than 1% of the world could even imagine wanting to do. You know, I mean, and actually do it. And then you're talking about the quarterback position, which is the hardest position. This is not, Yeah, it takes a while to understand this stuff and to get up to the speed of the game. I mean, it is a different level.
And
It's a different
Kyler Murray
level.
is probably going to be a guy who's starting.
Without a doubt. Because they got rid of the other guy, and that's going to be the guy.
He's going
And-
to pull some rabbits out of his hat.
Yeah.
And he's also going to have his ass handed to him every once in a while as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Well, that offense is going to be geared towards his abilities as a quarterback from day one. So that's the weird part about drafting the Kyler Murray, because your backup is not going to have those attributes. So it's essentially having to have a twofold offense. Because if Kyler can't play in Week 5, they cannot do Kyler things with that
right.
quarterback in Week 5.
Maybe they need
so
an
that's a bit
RG3.
different. Maybe they do.
Kingsbury wants to.
Do you want to draft a
rock and
quarterback?
roll.
Do you want to have a backup quarterback that has Kyler Murray attributes, or do you just want to have a solid guy
If
that
I
come
were
in there and
Kingsbury,
run?
yes.
I think so. I think so too. But he doesn't have that guy right now. So
They don't have.
see.
Kingsbury is married.
there's not many of those guys.
He's screwed that franchise so hard with his own mouth. Like Kyler Murray, it should be have to go out and play tomorrow.
Very graphic. but
It's very
Sorry.
graphic. Him and the rest of the Instagram models.
Yes.
He's been giving them the Arizona Cardinals
It's not
treatment.
exactly what I meant, but like when you're like,
Get
hey,
an RG3 for cheap nowadays.
Desert
Kingsbury
Bird.
hired in the last 5 seconds to be head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. What do you have to say, Mr. Kingsbury? I'm in love with Kyler Murray, and I just want him to be on my team, and I just can't imagine being an NFL coach without him as my quarterback, because that's what happened. So guess what?
The other
Murray has
problem
to
with
play.
this, though, Kevin, the other problem just philosophically is if you have a backup for Kyler Murray that does Kyler Murray-ish things, you better get a third-string quarterback as well, because
Is Mark
when the
Sanchez available?
Yeah, the second guy,
I know.
is not even as good as the
I
first
know.
guy.
Guess what? By
He's
the
gonna
way,
get his ass handed to
Well,
him.
Kyler Murray
twice
is very
as
good at
much.
not taking hits. You better find someone else that can't take hits either.
Trent Williams, by the way, can take a humongous hit. The quarterback thing, what I find fascinating and interesting is the RG3 angle. I think we're now talking about a guy who, especially if he's going to be a backup for a while, he could be in the league for a long time, because the league is coming back to his skill set, even though he's banged up and old and he's seen a few at this point in time. The RG3s of the world, their careers are going to be extended immensely, because he's the third quarterback. If you have a team that you're like thinking, well, God, if I have to go to the third guy, I could do a whole lot worse than RG3. He's going to be around for a long time, because he's backing up Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. But as these quarterbacks come into the league, all of a sudden your statues, and, you're the 41-year-old guy who holds a clipboard and looks great doing it he's gonna look a whole lot different in this league in the next couple of years, which I think is cool.
The climate's crazy, because you used to have to leave the college offense and adapt to the pro offense, and that's what took so long for these young quarterbacks. Now we flip-flopped. Now the college quarterbacks are coming in, and what's Kingsbury running? A college offense. What did Bill Belichick adapt?
It's RPO. It's not the running stuff.
I know, but there's also it's not just RPO with Cliff Kingsbury. You wait and see what he does. He is coming out of the chutes with an all-college-looking offense. And the Sean McVays of the world that are adapting some of these, not as an offense, but as a
Concepts.
series, as a concept, exactly. Not to put all your money in one corner with it, to have it in your arsenal, in your cachet. Yeah, it's what it is, which allows the transition to
What
be
Peterson
smoother,
does in
a
Philly,
tad bit
it's what he
easier.
does in Philly.
It's exactly what's happened in Philly, and they won a Super Bowl with it. So, people are kind of taking a look around and saying this could be. So it's not, I know what you're saying, but that's why, look, these guys that are waiting 5 games, that's not a big deal.
No.
Some guys wait 1 and 2 years. You know
That's
what I mean?
right.
Your Patrick Mahomes shows up, and then that's the guy that you want to point the finger at. You want to sit a year behind a guy like Alex Smith with a coach like Andy Reid in a system like that, and watch him blossom.
A running
And
back
if
like
you can
Kareem
afford
Hunt.
it, if you can afford to do that with a guy who's got the wisdom of an Andy Reid,
And a tight end like Travis
that's
Kelce.
a perfect scenario.
They're
People want to
stacked.
model that, but you better have a coach, ownership, and a quarterback who are all on the same page, with a veteran who's willing to take on the responsibility of being the big brother the way Alex Smith was, and will be for Dwayne
Pat
Haskins,
Mahomes
by the way,
could have played
without being on the field.
he would. I think he would have done the exact same things as a rookie. He might. His so raw physically, like his athletic ability, the way he can throw the ball, like what he did last year when plays broke down, is he had a Pro Bowl year just using those stats. So, it was a luxury for the Chiefs to be able to sit him behind Alex Smith. But I think, hey, you could have put him on the field.
He's a mixtape
Yeah, he's
as a quarterback.
and.
He can do it all. He can sit.
And it was an investment in his career, and I think that's the same thing you maybe would have said about Carson Palmer, who's another one of the models in terms of guys who sit for a year and have great careers. Let's talk about the the other side of the ball, because we talked a lot about Haskins. I want to talk about Montez Sweat. I want to talk about.
I want to talk about O-line too.
We're gonna O-line and Jimmy Moreland. That's gonna be our show tonight. We're not gonna be here forever. We appreciate everyone hanging
Hold
out.
on, you got a couple other things. You got to go out there. You got to go in on Doxson too.
We're gonna go in on Daxon.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then let's whip through it faster. Do we have any comments?
Free for all.
Any comments?
Yay!
Anyone you want to shout out on the comment list? You're our liaison. You're our
supposed to be doing that, wasn't
I? Absolutely. People are saying, "Hey, T, bring us up." If you want to have a question or comment, let our main guy know. He's our social media liaison.
Can't hand me that before we get to the other side of the ball.
Yeah.
Not that.
This one?
Well, I don't know. I'm just thinking.
I appreciate
that
that.
one looked empty.
Yeah, that was the empty one.
What are we doing on the other side of the ball?
All right, so Montez Sweat, real fast. Give me an over/under defensive snaps played percentage-wise for Montez Sweat. And I think, what did I say here? I said in the first month of the season, the percentage of time he's on the field for our defense, first month of the season. What do you got?
So I went back and took a peek at what we did last year. Last year, I'll be quick. Preston Smith and Ryan Kerrigan both played around 80% of the snaps at two different spots. We're talking about 200% here. I'm not a mathematician, but I'm just saying. I'm basing it on 200%, and I add that up into thank you very much for your help.
I think we're going to be all right there.
Pernell McPhee was on the field for 20% of the snaps. Ryan Anderson, 16. Casanova McKenzie got 4%. So I'm taking that. I'm mixing it up. I'm saying Kerrigan's going to have his 80 on his side.
Yep.
All right, fair enough. I think that I'm going to say whoever it's going to be, we got Jordan Brailford. I think he's a 7th-round pick that's going to make the team do their numbers at that spot until we get a couple veterans maybe. But, he seems like, a pretty studly outside rusher. He's maybe a step short or an inch too an inch too short, maybe a step slow.
But could play special teams.
But he also was a great production as a sack guy at Oklahoma State. But I'm looking at a 50-50 here, and I think that it's going to be a well-rounded situation. We're not going to be stuck in positions. I think that Montez Sweat's going to be able to spell Kerrigan on occasion, and Ryan Anderson's going to be able to spell Montez Sweat on occasion.
Yes.
I think the rotation for the first month of the season, and it's a generic answer after doing all this research, but I got a 50-50 situation there. I got an 80% on Kerrigan, and there's a little 20% left over for the Casanova, McKenzie, or whatever veteran we sign.
So we're adding up to 200, two outside linebacker positions. I'm going to, just not to say the same thing, I got him going 60% of the time because I think Sweat will get his share of the Ryan Anderson, Montez Sweat rotation, and I think Montez Sweat is going to move into some of those plays, like you said, when Kerrigan's off the field, because you're going to see Anderson and Sweat on the field at the same time, and you're also going to see Kerrigan, Sweat, and Anderson on the field at the same time. So I'm saying 60+% for Montez Sweat. In fact, I'm going to say 65%. I'm just going to, I'm just going to throw that out there.
I tempered mine for the first week or month, which was the question.
Yeah.
Because I believe he's Kerrigan's replacement. I hate to say it, but I do.
Oh, I mean, hey, if that's the case, he's replacing what will likely by the end of the season be the all-time sack leader for the Redskins.
But why put a percentage on it now?
We're just guessing.
They've had OTA. Have they had? They've had.
That's the whole purpose of the question.
That's why, because there ain't shit else to talk about, brother. So we got to talk percentages.
Yeah.
Come on,
how much
throw a
time
number
will be
out
on
there, T.
Really?
Yeah, really.
I mean, listen,
we're talking about payoff on a bottom of the first round pick. This is a good thing. We're talking about probably the shining light of the first month of our season.
It's also what we got to do.
65% of the snaps.
Yeah. Which would be a lot for a rookie.
That's a lot.
That's my point.
No,
I think he's going to be on the field a lot.
50?
All right.
Actually, I probably feel like more like 45.
All right, that's good. 45, 50, 65.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that. Let's move over to wide receiver. So one of the questions I asked was about Josh Doxson, and this is a shout out to Juice, who's not here yet, but he'll be here momentarily. Probably now that we're talking about Josh Doxson and his potential to not be on this team by the end of the season, he's going to walk in that door. Question is, will Josh Doxson finish the season on the Redskins roster? I
think it's an absolute no-brainer of a yes.
I think so. I think so too.
If you look back, and once again, listen, I know I'm nerding out. I don't give a damn. But Josh Doxson played double the snaps of any wide receiver on the Redskins last year, almost, all right? Mo Harris played 462 snaps. Doxson played 846 snaps.
Yeah.
Crowder was third at 428. No one on this roster has sniffed 500 plays that Doxson was a part of. Now, 4 quarterbacks. He had 2/3 of the season with Alex Smith, as they were 2/3. Hey, listen, I don't think it was – I know he wasn't first-round productive, But when we're looking for warm bodies to put out there,
he was-
you know
he
who was
was
playing receiver for us last year?
middling productive.
Yeah, but there's no reason to cut him. Absolutely zero reason to cut him. The caliber athlete he is does not warrant the production. Agreed. But when we're looking at the rest of this situation in the receiver room, Josh Doxson is a no-brainer for us this year. And guess what we just automatically put him in? A contract
He's
year.
in a contract year.
We just
So-
put him in a position that he has.
I agree with that.
Listen,
It is time to step up and be a man.
I don't know if
this
that time
year.
has passed, but he
that
has
time
a
has
chance.
passed.
He has a chance.
No, because if you don't,
He has a
this year,
chance. Right.
you're gone.
Now he has a
From the
chance.
league.
The consensus from our live viewers
All right.
right now is Doxson needs to go.
Like,
And there's a little bit
this
of a
James?
dialogue
Yeah, but-
between Eric Anderson and Andrew Griffin Humphreys, who's getting a lot of play tonight, by the way.
Yeah, good
Uh,
job. That's
They
well
want to know.
earned.
They want to know if the Redskins
Well
going to go
earned.
after a free agent,
wide receiver.
in Crabtree, Boston, or Barry.
All right, well, so that's good.
We'll
We're gonna
get to that.
We're gonna
We'll get to
we're
that.
gonna loop
All right.
over to that. Just to round out the Doxson discussion, I think we all agree his contract dictates that he has value to this roster. And he snapped more than anyone. You got that one nailed. That one big time.
I mean,
we don't have anybody else. If you're telling me that Terry McLaurin
out
and
of
Kelvin
spite.
Harmon are
Right,
going to be
right.
the starters, then okay,
let's
maybe
not
I.
get spiteful.
But it's
I know Doxson has not gotten to the
I
place
bet
we
you one
wanted
of
him
them
to
is.
be. But
starting. I would bet on Terry McLaurin starting for us.
Yep.
I think he could easily get to
Yes.
that point. Yeah.
yeah, well, he's a natural slot who can also play both outside spots. So he gives us a tremendous amount of worth and value.
Yeah.
Across the board, he's going to get plenty
Remember,
of
we
snaps.
got to replace Crowder somewhere.
It'd be nice to see Haskins
Well, there's your boy Trey Quinn.
throwing deep balls to Sims and Harmon also on the outside. The 6'3" NC State guy, who he's a number one guy. I don't know if he's going to translate like that all the way to the league. He could be, but he is a number one kind of receiver. That's the position he plays.
I don't want to say Art Monk and Kelvin Harmon in the same sentence so no one rips me. I'm just saying in the mold of. 3rd and 9, and you knew we were getting a first down in 1983 because Art Monk was on the field. He might not be the big speed burner, but he's going to box your ass out. He's going to run a perfect route. He's got strong hands. He's a beast.
Yep.
What a steal for us. What a steal.
At
I
a
think he
position of need.
I think he comes along at a
talking
huge
about
position
Harmon.
of need.
Yeah,
Talking
Kelvin
about
Harmon.
Kelvin Harmon.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a big
But I
boy.
do
And,
believe
and after Sean Spring's colorful description of Paul Richardson, I'm going to go back on my statement that Quinn, I think, is our number one guy right now.
Oh, well, listen, you and Sean Springs can have that conversation with each other because Paul Richardson, I did not want to have, and what he showed me in the first few weeks of last season changed my
showed
mind
me more than
drastically.
I thought.
He showed a ton of
You're right.
He showed a ton of playmaking ability and courage playing with a banged up shoulder and a banged up knee.
But the fact that kind of shocked us and stood out to you and I
I laughed. I
I'm
don't
sure
think it
Ken
shocked
too,
me. It was laughable.
Doesn't make him a number one guy.
And he retracted
We were
on
like,
it.
holy
No,
crap,
he's
all right,
a
he's a
two
little
guy.
bit better than we thought he was. But
Hey, look, Sean Springs also went back on that about half an hour later after getting
Yeah.
he had a few snacks and decided to, it sounded like it. I'm not sure. I think it was either
Some Skittles.
peanuts or Skittles.
Or
Yes,
Starburst.
exactly. But he went back
M&Ms.
on it and went,
another guy
I
we're
know
going to talk
Paul,
about
blah,
is
blah.
going to take his place. But
Paul showed some ability to make plays. He showed his speed. We need that speed. That this offense is predicated on spreading the field. We want that speed. We need him on that wall. And I don't care about Stonegate and him not being able to get in. I challenge that. I challenge you, Sean Springs. Paul Richardson is a good player. And Trey Quinn has caught 9 balls ever. He's going to be a good slot, though. I like him.
9
I like
good
him.
ones, though.
Fair enough. I think he's going to be
is
good
our-
for us, Steve. I do.
Doxson's our number one. Richardson will be on the field a lot. Trey Quinn will be on the field a lot. And I think McLaurin will be on the field a lot.
I think Kelvin Harmon's going to be on the field.
I do too, but
But
now
maybe not right away.
I just like the idea of Haskins throwing to Harmon and McLaurin
So do I.
this year.
Growing up together.
Yeah. Let's talk about Jimmy Moreland for a second. So
That's
I
this
love
is the kid who's becoming.
he's going to
like-
be the guy. Every year the Washington
Last year's Trey Quinn?
well, he's an early favorite for the Mason Brennan Awards at Hawks
Preseason
Haven.
hype, yes.
Mason Brennan, he's a classic
Preseason
Mason Brennan
hype Trey
guy.
Quinn, 'cause
7th round draft.
I don't
pick,
wish
7th
upon
round
I don't
draft
wish
pick.
upon Moreland to get hurt or anything like that.
No. But it's a guy that Washington Redskins fans fall in love with during the preseason. So as a 7th round pick, he's going to see the field a shit ton in August because that's what we're not going to put Josh Norman out there all the time. So guess who's playing? Jimmy Moreland. So everyone's going to see him constantly. He's going to be picking off garbage quarterbacks in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th quarters of these
Did you
preseason
watch
games.
that highlight tape today?
Oh, I love him.
Holy crap!
And I'm getting ready to make him the Mason Brennan Award winner without even seeing a down of the preseason. But I think the Washington Redskins fan base has very famously and and consistently gotten overly excited about guys who really were never going to be big players in the league, and that's okay. This guy is a guy I think we're going to get excited about who, as Kevin and I were talking about earlier, he's not going to line up at 170 pounds as your number one quarterback on day one when you already have, some guys in place. But if we have to go to him because of an injury, first of all, it's going to be fun as hell to see him go out there and line up whatever number he's going to wear. And secondly, we're all going to be thinking about all those things we heard people say. Now, the draft analysts today are amazing. They have a truck full of guys who have videos everywhere. I mean, I love our Hogs Haven draft guys. But, when you're watching the NFL draft, they're going to know. But you could tell when Jimmy Moreland's name came up that it was a guy that they had a conversation about. At some point in time, they had talked about this kid.
How can you not?
I know. And that's what was so cool when we drafted him. And you get this sense that...
From JMU or not.
Yeah, he's going to make our team.
They always say, if you have the talent, they're going to find you. Mm-hmm. There's no doubt this kid has...
He has talent.
Unreal talent.
Talent and toughness.
I wanted to say, what should be the first sentence that comes out of anyone's mouth after they watch all this and read about him, because at the FCS level, the Football Championship Series, he won every award. I mean, if you could win it as a D-back, he won it. He cleaned house. It was like, the Oscars night, and he walked out with 13
I've never
of them.
Seen so many picks in my
It's
life.
unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But the one thing that I want to say right
4
away,
touchdowns.
when you think about six pick sixes, 18 picks, 6 to the house, he is tough as shit. Yeah. Pound for pound, tough as shit. It's the first thing. Every time I see him, I'm like, this guy's tough as shit.
Yeah,
he competes.
Tough as shit.
He competes on every inch of that
They
football
almost
field.
said that, too, on ESPN.
They wanted to.
They're like, tough.
They definitely wanted to. Sean Springs wanted to. I think he might have said it, but here's the deal. As a sophomore, he's with a group of guys off campus. A couple guys do knucklehead things, and that's what happens when you're 20 years old. He's a 20-year-old sophomore. The group got charged with a misdemeanor under $200. So whatever was messed up was under 200. Most people, whatever. Everyone else left the program. He sat in the stands and went to every game and didn't leave and kept his grades up. And the new coaching staff came in and they heard about him and what had happened. And the coach said, wait a minute, you're telling me that he went to every game, sat in the stands, still supported the program, and couldn't wait to get back and be a part of it when he could have gone somewhere else. I mean, he was a good player and blah, blah. Everyone else left. He sat there. He wanted to finish there. His family told him that's where you're going to do it. This is what you're going to do. You're going to learn from that. That's some old school shit. Mm-hmm. That's mentally tough as shit to me.
Yeah.
You got to sit there and watch your boys out there achieving your dream, and the new staff comes in and gives you that opportunity because you did it the right way, because you fessed up and acted right. Yeah. That's what I love about the guy. Forget about the fact that he's out there knocking heads and he's a consummate playmaker.
Yeah.
Mentally, he's getting through it. He's rebounded, and he did it the right way, and he learned. I love it.
Barring injury to somebody else, his playmaking is going to be on special teams because he is such a special talent. He is going to be a guy.
Yeah,
you can't wait for special teams because I think that he is going to have.
But he's going to play.
So very quickly, let me just say this to you guys. We have Moreland, we have Johnson, Danny Johnson, we have Holsey, and we have Stroman. That's 4 guys right around 5'10", right? 5'11", and they're set in first or second year.
Yep.
Holsey third, I believe. That terrible injury he had when a training table fell on his freaking foot.
Though, isn't he?
No, they're all below. No, more than
6 feet.
5'11" at the combine. Okay. So all these guys are below 6 feet, but right there, they're all the 5'11" guys. They're all right at 4'4". We're talking 4'4", 4'3", 4'8", 4'3". Right
and
there.
Physical.
And they're all physical. They're all between 175 and 195 pounds. That's 4 little guys. When you talk about Josh Norman, Quentin Dunbar, Fabian Moreau, now how many little guys do you have? How many slot corners do you have? Special teams guys. Like Adonis Alexander is a 6'2", 6'3", 210-pound cat that we got to worry about. What's he going to do? I like the depth there. The competition is going to be fierce at that position.
He needs to learn safety, man. Adonis has to be able to play safety, and I'm worried about it.
I kind of think so, but just like DRC, they've both done it and failed.
I know.
At 2 different
levels.
But
I don't know who I'm keeping. I don't know who I'm cutting of that group of 7 guys you just mentioned.
And I didn't even say DRC. I know. I think Adonis might be the odd man out, but
I'm cutting DRC also.
But I'm telling you, unfortunately, I think that 2 of these guys, you can't have too many guys that are 5'11" or $180. You know what I mean?
Yep.
This is a big man's league. We know that. how many roles are there for these guys? But I do think Moreland is at the top of that list, no doubt about it. I think he's going to be a standout special teams guy and a guy that could plug and play. I love his toughness. So do you guys.
Let's answer a question from, you said it was Eric Eric or Andrew asking about the free agency.
Yes, they did.
So I put out a list of 10, and I cherry-picked names. Everyone knows who these people are. J.I., running back, we don't need him. Corey Lugic, defensive lineman, not going to happen. And Ndamukong Suh, a free agent, not going to happen. Ezekiel Ansah, an aging rusher, we're not going to get that guy. Muhammad Wilkerson, defensive lineman, no dice. Derek Morgan, aging linebacker, along with Jamie Collins, probably not. Morris Claiborne, by the way, we're talking about free agents. Something when I see a name like Morris Claiborne, I thought about this today out of nowhere. I wasn't even thinking about these free agents from Alabama. I'm almost thinking at some point they're just going to end up here. Like I'm not saying we don't need Morris Claiborne or not. I'm just saying I see his name and all I see is Crimson Tide. I'm like, yeah, but I can see them signing him. Michael Crabtree, wide receiver, free agent. Eric Berry and Trey Boston, 2 safety free agents. I think Trey Boston or Eric Berry to me would be a slam dunk easy thing. What's up, Juice? We already talked about Josh Doxson. He's playing all season. Sorry, buddy. We solved the whole problem.
I'll put a bottle of whiskey down on it.
Excuse it, that was Juice right there.
But I will say, Juice has a very interesting. He's been a Trey Boston guy. You've been an Eric Berry guy. I've stood on the sidelines with T. Of course, I'd love to get Eric Berry, but I can't imagine that Eric Berry's got to look out and say, "I'd like to go play for that guy Dan Snyder." They've got like 14 quarterbacks. They have just a ridiculous amount of injuries. And
we're not screaming.
I'm in the twilight of my career.
Come here and yes.
But I think if he looks at Jonathan Allen and Reuben Foster and Landon Collins and goes, you know what, I might see some. I think that could be a telltale. If Eric Berry signs here, he's seeing something that we're seeing as fans as a player on field level. I think that would be a very interesting guy. I don't think Trey Boston is all that great. Me neither. It's not lighting a fire under my ass. When we sign Trey Boston, I'm not going to be like, yes. I want to know what the hell's the deal with Monte Nicholson before we get into all this.
Yeah.
We're not going to find that out. No one does, and we're not going to get it.
By the way,
I hope he's around.
If you're watching the Nats at the same time we are, just get another player who looks like he's about to be carted off the field.
Did he get hit in the face? Or?
Yeah,
he's a catcher, so I know he was wearing a mask. Jan Gomes is getting the gear on, but for goodness sake, you can't watch a Nats game without seeing an injury.
He replaced Jan Gomes last night.
Yeah, I know.
He's definitely not going to stay in the game.
Can Jimmy Moreland catch?
That's
any experience in the tools of ignorance.
I wouldn't bet against it.
Well, the question
is just about everything.
I'm with you, man.
The title of the show is "Can Jimmy Moreland play offensive line?" Because he's certainly tough enough to do it, and let's go out on that because we got 2 middle round offensive line draft picks: Wes Martin, Ross Pierschbacher.
I want to hear your take on this. Yeah.
All right, so I love
Pierschbacher, man.
I think that people are. As high as I am, I love centers. I love the idea of centers. And people think that because I pine for a center that I'm somehow down on Chase Roullier, and I'm not. I think Chase Roullier has been great for us. He's been exactly what every team needs. They need a low round pick to play, solid minutes, and Chase has done that. And I'm not counting him out as far as our starting 5 goes, but I think
snaps than anyone on the other line last year. You and I both know that. And we love it.
Yeah, he's
T and I. We've all talked about
depended
Chase.
on him.
He's our guy.
We've depended on him, and my goal isn't to figure out a way to upgrade from Chase Roullier, but my goal is to plug some holes.
But it is
at the end of if we find somebody better now. Again, we're going back to the Crimson Tide well with Ross Pierschbacher, and I'll start there. Wes Martin was the higher pick. And I think people are high on Wes Martin, and he's in the mix.
He was our higher pick, but he wasn't ranked on anyone else's board as high as I think we had him. Maybe a few others that we don't know about, but
we went out and got him.
Yeah, we did.
So I hope that, and he's a Midwest,
dairy farmer.
How about that? He's Suzuki staying in. No, there you go.
He's been squeezing teats since he was a small child.
Which is exactly what you really want in an offensive lineman.
I think so.
I think so, too.
Sure.
I'd be surprised if we weren't talking about him being in the mix by like the second preseason game of potentially being a starter on this team. But the center out of Alabama, first of all, he's huge for, I'm surprised, not that I'm surprised he lasted that long in the draft, but centers that have the ability to play in this league with that kind of size, they're not available that late in the draft. So I was a little skeptical. But if you watch him play, I mean, he's strong, he's smart, and he's played at the highest level of college football. I mean,
4 championship starts in 4 years. The first college football player to ever hold that title.
He's played next to some of the best offensive linemen who've come out of college and gone into the pros, and he's banged heads with some of the best defensive linemen
The Clemson
in
boys.
the entire on the regular.
For 4.
I'm not penciling him in as my starting center right now, but I'm just telling everybody, get used to the idea of a jersey that has a ridiculous amount of letters on the back of it, confusing the hell out of whoever lines up behind him under center. I think he could be our starting center, and I think he could be our center for a while.
And
But we need a left guard before we need to take care of the center,
Which could be Chase Rouillet.
Hold on. Let's
That's
not
where
forget.
I was going. That's where I was going. So if that's going to happen, who is going to be our left guard?
Eric Flowers just got $4 million from us. You don't hand someone $4 million.
Did Jay sound real confident about him the other
Yes,
day?
he did.
A couple weeks
he said
ago?
when I
says we got to see.
He said when Brennan Sheriff came out in this draft, he said Eric Flowers went 9th. We took him 5th. We decided between those two at that spot. And he went 9th. And I know he underwhelmed up there in New York as a tackle.
Both
but
those
now,
guys' paths have been
when
very
you have
different.
no
He's
money,
huge.
when you have no salary cap dollars, and you give someone $4 million, you're going to milk that. I know Milky Martin wants to get in there and do his thing and squeeze them all out of
There's
there.
also
but
a reason
listen,
why his market is 4.
but a man that size that can move like that, and that's what Jay Gruden loves, a big mauler guard that has athleticism. I know it's a science project. I'm not saying it's an easy transition.
I like the idea. You know how I feel about tackles moving inside.
But this guy's got all the feet. He's got all the athleticism. Does he have
How
them
many
between
feet does
here?
he
We'll
have?
figure it out. He's got 2.
What?
All the ones that you need required to start at left guard.
Well, why didn't you say that to begin
I
with?
didn't
That
know.
would have you could have
I
just
did
led
not-
with that,
I
and we
tried
would be
to
already
check
done.
that box, and no one was giving it to me. But 2 feet, 10
got 2
toes.
feet.
I imagine non-web.
Pay the man.
Alex Smith apparently has 3. So
That's true.
He does,
Colt McCoy's had surgery on his third.
Oh, no, that's
multiple
what I
times.
meant. That's what I meant. I meant Colt
I thought you had some
McCoy.
insider
I meant
information.
Colt. Tripod is what he's called.
We got any
That's-
parting
that's-
thoughts from our
yeah.
friends tonight?
They got into.
Is Joe in there? Thanks, Joe.
No, well, James Rainey's there.
Hey, Milky Martin, we're gonna
James.
make
No, they
flowers.
got into. What was this? I did want to point out something. They got into something a little bit different. Is why hasn't Sheriff been extended? An interesting thing. Some are speculating. Some are. I mean, we always say on this show, you got to extend it before you can clean it all.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Let's clean that up.
Let's. It's probably going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just because it hasn't happened now, I don't think it's something you can read into quite yet. But something to think about.
I'm with you. And can I end on my
You can clean up
conspiracy
some.
theory?
You can clean up some other cap space.
As soon as we extend it and clean up Sheriff, there's a lot more space out there. And my conspiracy theory from the St. James.
I know.
You know, there's a man named Juice sitting back here. He hasn't said. I'm not saying him to say anything about anything.
No.
But he just mentioned. You know, there's a couple guys in there working out, and I saw a picture that he put on Facebook, so I'm allowed to take from that. Yeah. And from that, I will take that
That's
Dwayne
a public
Haskins
forum.
is throwing passes, and there's a man in Minnesota that catches a lot of passes, that grew up here catching passes, that I can't get it out of my head, guys. I know it's conspiracy, and I'm just saying I can't let it go because it fits our goofball owner. It fits our team needs. It does not fit our salary cap or draft pick situation.
And now that he lives a lot closer to good counsel, too.
But if
Snyder
Stephon
does.
Diggs and Dwayne Haskins are working out right up the street, Darius Geis is doing his thing out there. You got blocker charge. I don't know. We got to get Juice out there to put him in the freeze, put him in the penalty box for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, no pickup ball,
Stop
man.
playing pickup ball, Darius Geis.
Come on, dude.
Listen, we've seen this. All of this has been witnessed on Facebook.
Unless he's on my team, in which case.
Juice will not give us any
pass
insider
it to him.
information that we wouldn't say. We've seen the pictures.
Yes, we've
You know,
seen
it's
the
all
pictures.
above board. We have, we've done our background checks on this, but I can't imagine that Stephon Diggs' little brother, Trayvon, who's going to be a first-round pick as a cornerback next year. We might take him too, Alabama bred. But why would he put a picture of Stephon in a Redskins uniform on Twitter? Why would this guy be working out with our quarterback? Why would this guy say we could be with some eyeballs going this way? What? Like, I can't stop thinking about it. So maybe we extend Sheriff,
We need
open
a
up
wide
a little bit of
receiver.
money, make a situation happen. Hey, listen.
By
if
the
we
way-
want seats and asses and seats. It fits Goofball's premise.
I guess-
It fits our premise from the ground up.
I'll tell you right now who's involved in that trade. You probably have to start with
Josh Norman.
Well, Josh Norman, probably Josh Doxson. Not that the Vikings are begging you to
Bye.
include him, but you got to include.
Kirk Cousins gave him his best his best
Yeah,
days.
I mean, again,
give him the-
Josh Doctson isn't the sealer.
The forest wave.
Yeah, but listen, Josh is going to be a throw-in in that
It's the Josh squared. Exactly, of course, because
now
once
it comes
you get
back to Moreland.
then you got Jimmy Moreland playing guard, center, slot, receiver, slot corner,
special teams,
punter, long snapper, and
and Cut Wiki's gone, so you don't have to do any of that stuff. That's good. All right,
I think
well,
we made our way around.
listen.
Thank you guys for
Everybody
hanging out
agrees
tonight.
that this is a good one to end on. Diggs coming to DC would be.
You guys know I can't release it.
Everybody
it's
agrees.
conspiracy. It's out there, and I'm not that guy, but I can't get this out of my brain.
I've been hanging out in the steam room at the St. James every single day for like 5 hours. I've lost like
some claim
36 pounds.
Some are
I'm
claiming it's an old picture, Juice,
Yeah, well, they got to
from
get
2016.
they got to get their sources correct.
Yeah, they got to.
Because Juice doesn't take any pictures.
No,
So
he doesn't.
that was not from Juice.
Only mental notes.
Yeah.
He takes a lot of mental notes. Until next Tuesday night, he's Tim Strachan.
Got me right in the middle
His
of a
name is on his hat.
final toast to our friends on YouTube, across the pond, and here at home. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. It's a great Tuesday night.
We're working on our liaison engagement program. T is heading the charge. We're going to figure out a way to bring everyone in more better on our show. So thanks a lot for hanging out with us on a
More
Tuesday
better.
night.
We're gonna do it more better.
Hey,
He's Kevin Ricca.
I'm just gonna jump the shark in this one and wish everyone in this basement's mom a happy Mother's Day.
Yep.
All of our fans out there, all the Redskins fans, all the moms that are Redskins fans, and in particular, my man Andrew Griffith Humphreys, to your mom. Happy
Just say
Mother's
goodbye.
Day.
How about that?
My man.
We got synergies across
Yeah, it's good
an
stuff.
entire
man.
ocean right there.
She raised a good man. He wears that burgundy and gold proudly, as do all of us in this basement. Happy Mother's Day to all the tremendous mothers of Redskins Nation.
Eric Anderson as well says goodbye. It was a lively conversation. Let's get some
And
more
happy
people-
Mother's
let's
Day,
get some more
Mom.
people
Thanks for
involved.
watching.
Yep. We'll see you guys next Tuesday night. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I'm Ken Maragolo, and this was The Audible.
Happy Mother's Day, Aaron.
We're still going. Come on.
Suck.
Come on, you still can.
Oh, happy Mother's Day, Leslie.
Happy Mother's Day, Megan. And Mom.
You sacks of shit.
Humphrey says Mother's Day was last March where he is.